On this video, I would like to do a little work in the book of Joel in the Hebrew Bible, Yoel, and basically look at the grammar slowly along with commentary and work my way through verse by verse and phrase by phrase of the Hebrew text. To say a word about Joel, we don't know much about the author at all. So it's something that we're just not sure of. The date is even uncertain. Some date it late, uh, some date it early. I personally take an early date for the book, and that is about the possibly the 8th century BC. When you think about the book of Joel, I like to look at the prophets in what I call like a little time frame, a budak, as we call it, budak, which would be Ja'im, Naz, Haj. Ja'im would be Joel, Jonah, Amos, Hosea, or Isaiah, and Micah. Ja'im, Isaiah, and Micah. Basically, when you think about it, that would take place from a conservative point dating 931 to 722 BC. And Joel, possibly the first of those prophets, and that would be in the period of the actually the kingdom being united, because in 722, or let me put it this way, it was the kingdom before the Assyrian captivity. In 722 was the Assyrian captivity, and these were prophets that prophesied during that period, 931 to 722, before the Assyrian captivity. Then the surviving kingdom from 722 to the time of the Babylonian invasion to 586 BC. During that period of time, we have Ja'im, Naz, Haj, Nahum, Zephaniah, Habakkuk, and Zechariah, Naz, Haj. Nahum, Zephaniah, Habakkuk, and Jeremiah during that period of time. And so in 586, the Babylonians came in. And then we have Deo from 586 to, let's say, 536, the period of the exile, Daniel, Ezekiel, and Obadiah during that time frame. And then lastly, we have the time after the exile, beginning in 536 forward. And in that period of time, we have Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi doing their prophetic ministry. So with that sort of quick overview, I want to work in Joel, and I'm taking Joel very early in the writing. And Joel deals with a locust invasion that had invaded Judah. And so we read the Hebrew, Devar Adonai Asher Haya El Yoel Ben Petuel, the word of the Lord, which came unto Joel, the son of Petuel. Haya is the cow perfect third masculine singular from Haya. So the word of the Lord, which came unto Yoel. Yoel simply means the Lord is God, is his name. We don't know anything more about him or even Petuel. And so he begins the prophecy, Shim'u Zot ha-Zekenim, V'ha'azinu kol Yoshavei ha'aretz. That is, hear this, old men, you old men, and give ear, all inhabitants of the earth. Shim'u is the cow imperative masculine plural from Shama. So hear this, ha zekenim. Zekenim would be the older ones who basically have had some years of experience, and they were to be able to observe that what we're seeing, he's saying, is very unique. And then give ear, v'ha'azinu kol yoshavei ha'aretz. That is, give ear, all inhabitants, all the ones who are dwelling, the inhabitants of the earth. Ha'azinu is from azan, to hear, and here we have a hifil, imperative masculine plural from azan. So give ear, all who are inhabiting the earth. Yoshaveh from yashav, it's a participle, a cow participle masculine plural from yashav. So all inhabitants of the earth. Hechayatazot bimechem ve'im bimei avotechem. Has there been this in your days, or in the days of your fathers? In other words, has there been such a plague like this in your days or in the days of your fathers? The hey here is introducing an interrogative. We call it the interrogative hey. Has there been? Hayata is the cow perfect, third feminine singular from haya, going with zod. Has there been this in your days, or in the days of your fathers? Bimei avotechem. Here we have two nouns in construct from yom, day. Yamei is your plural in construct here with avotechem, which is also plural, your fathers. So, in other words, has there been anything like this in your days or in the days of your fathers? This kind of a plague that we're now witnessing. Tell your children of it. Aleha livnechem saperu, uvenechem livnehem, uvenehem ledor acher. That is, tell it to your children, relate it. Let your children then tell their children. And actually, we could say concerning it, relate it to your children. Tell your children, and then they'll be able to tell their children about what has happened. Saperu is from safar. It's a PL, imperative masculine plural from safar. So tell concerning it to your children, and your children to their children, uvenehim ledor acher, and their children to another generation. In other words, this is so unique that it needs to be told, the calamity, about the dread of it from generation to generation. That's what is happening here in this locust plague. And then he continues, Yeter hagazam achal ha-arbe. That which has left, the palmer worm, the locust has eaten. Here we have hagazaz. Actually, it means to shear, and the shearer, what is left of the shearer, and we could translate this possibly palmer worm, uh, and the four names here could look at the devastation that a series of locusts have inflicted. And it is interesting. It could simply look at the complete destruction of everything. And he's using these terms to describe it. Some have taken it to be locusts at different stages, or different kinds, possibly. But it could also be just looking at one, can I say, group of locusts after another, devastating the land. And so that the remainder of what the palmer has eaten, achal, is the cow perfect third masculine singular from achal. Uh, the locust, or that which was left of the palmer worm, I should say, the locust has eaten. And here, arbe is the basic word for locust. Uh, it basically is a word used repeatedly for the term locust in the Hebrew Bible. V'yeter ha'arbe achal ha'yelek. And that which the locust has left, or the leaving of the locust, and here we have uh, hayalek. Hayalek means something like to lap up. Um, in other words, it looks at one species following another. I'm looking here at the Sonsino commentary of the Bible on page 60. As each separate visitation terminated, the species of locust that followed destroyed anything overlooked by the previous swarms. Coming immediately after the harvest, they caused havoc which can scarcely be imagined. This is on page 60 of the Sonsino commentary of the Bible. And it's sort of a summary of what I believe is actually going on here. And the book of Joel was written by Rabbi Dr. Lehrman. And so I quote that particular text on page 60 to summarize his understanding of it. And it seems to be that what we're looking at is one series or one swarm after another, destroying the land. And then we have the next phrase, Vayeter hayelek achal echasio. And so what the leaving of the lapper, what that third group left, then the finisher has completed. Echasil, meaning like finisher. It could be like caterpillar, some want to render it. But the word means what the finisher. And so here we're looking, I believe, at a literal invasion of locusts. And it's interesting when we look at the New Testament in the plagues of the book of Revelation, chapter 8 and 9, you have the trumpet judgments. And among them are a picture of scorpions like locusts, and their tails sting, and on and on. And there it seems to be looking at demonic beings, many feel. But here, I think we're looking at an actual invasion of locusts. And I think what happens, in my understanding of a locust invasion, everything is devastated. They come in such a massive amount that everything is totally destroyed and decimated. And so, in the next phrase, or in the next verse, he begins to encourage different people to wake up because of what has happened. So in verse 5, it reads, Hakitsu shikorim uvechu. Awake, drunkards, and weep. Hakitsu is from kitz, to awake. It is a hifil imperative masculine plural. Awake, shikurim, those that drink, because the vine's going to be destroyed. Uvechu, and weep, from bacha, to weep. It's a cow imperative masculine plural. And wail, all you drinkers of wine. Vehelilu kol shote yayin. Wail, all who are drinking the asis, wine that is sweet wine, pressed from the grapes, because all of that's going to be destroyed. So wail is what he is saying. Shote is the cow participle, masculine plural, from shata. So the vine has been destroyed, and as a result, the grapes suffer. There are no grapes. Everything has been devoured. For a people is come up upon my land. Ki goy. Let me just go back. For it is cut off from your mouth. Ki nikrat mipichem. Nikrat is from karat, to cut off. It's a nifal stem. For it is cut off from your mouth. From karat, to cut off, a nifal perfect third masculine singular, from karat. It has been cut off from your mouth. For a people, notice ki goy Allah al arsi. For a people have come up upon my land. And now I think he's using this basically as a symbol of real locust, but symbolizing it as an invading army or invading force coming against the land. By the way, when you look at the idea here, often a people can be used to speak of ants or rock badgers, like in Proverbs 30 and so forth. So a people have come up, speaking still of the locust. A people have come up upon my land. Joel is writing. Allah is the cow perfect, second person singular, from Allah. Mighty and without number. Atzum ve'ein mispar. In other words, numerous. And it's my understanding that locusts really come in a massive amount and devastate the land. Mighty and without number. Mighty because of the number of them, Shinav Shine Aryeh, and his teeth are the teeth of a lion. That is, we're talking about how they devour everything, because in the mass of locusts that come, it leads to devastation. They eat up everything. And uvet talaot lavilo, and he has the jaw teeth of a lioness. And so what we're looking at are the powerful teeth and jaws that can eat through about anything, describing what the locusts are like. And notice everything is blasted and destroyed. Notice u te'enati liksafa, that is my fig tree, or my fig tree is splintered. Ketsifa, my fig tree is splintered. Hashaf, hashafa, vehishlik, it is made bare, clean bare, and it has been cast down. Notice here, what has happened is that the fig tree has been stripped of everything. It's become like splinters. And hasafa, it has become bare, completely bare. I'm understanding here chasaf, to make bare, and we have the cow perfect, third masculine singular, followed by the pronominal suffix. He has made it bare, from chasaf. And chasov is your infinitive absolute. He has made it completely bare and cast it down. But hishlik, from shalak, hifil, perfect third masculine singular, from shalak. He has cast it completely down. The branches thereof are white. Ilvinu serigeha, that is, and its branches, they have been caused to be white. From Lavan, again a hifil perfect, third common plural, from Lavan. So its branches, they have caused to be white. That is, they've stripped everything, is the thought here. And it's my understanding that the fig tree has been made into splinters, and this, from what I've heard and from my reading, is what happens when there is such an invasion of locusts, how they actually destroy everything. And so I'm going to stop there. He's going to make a call to mourning and a plea for repentance. And so this is seen as a judgment. And there's the call for repentance, a call for mourning first, and then true repentance. And so this idea goes back to the Torah, where locusts can be a picture of judgment. And Joel, I believe, is writing about that, or prophesying about that.